Yo yo, what up, J fam? I don't know. Should we have something like that? Community name? I don't know. I got a new addition to the family, so that's what I'm all about. Anyway, first off, I do apologize it took this long to, get this video out because I know y'all been just fiending for something that's gonna give you an advantage, something that's gonna keep yo ass from getting beat before it beats you. I don't know how an ass would beat somebody, but that's beside the point. Okay, we're talking about MWIII. So pretty much MW2 with a DLC pack, let's be honest. Okay, so first things first, I gotta ask y'all to pay attention to every single thing that I say in this video because it's gonna be crucial. There's a lot of research, a lot of hours I had to invest in this just to find solutions. I've been looking for it for like 3 weeks now, and I finally think I have something. But first thing is first, get into the game. Make sure that you are familiar with all the audio mixes you have. These are the in-game EQs that you're going to be able to use. I'm going to have 3, maybe 4 that I would recommend. It depends on your headset, very headset dependent, because there's different frequency responses you have with headsets, and then there's different size drivers. Those are the actual speakers in your headset on each ear cuff. So what we're going to be looking at is PC speaker. If you're on console, you don't have it, sorry. But your best bet is going to be soundbar if you would otherwise use PC speaker and don't like it. And have a smaller driver headset. If you have a higher frequency range and larger driver, like 50mm on your headset, then I would say home theater. And now that you're familiarized with the EQs in game and how they're going to vary throughout your experience this time around, let's talk about Dolby. So I put out in the community forum that there's going to be some more EQs this time around. Like, I just don't have a choice. But it might actually be a good thing for everybody, because with that being the case, that means that you're using different in-game EQs that might be necessary for your headset, because no headset is really the same. And then it's going to affect each one of those EQs differently based on, the actual Dolby EQ you're going to use. Because ultimately, Dolby reigns supreme. All you do is kind of change the range that sounds are going to be bound to. Like, let's say footsteps, for example. They, in home theater, get bound to 20 hertz to outwards of like 600. That's when it starts to fade. You're not really getting a whole lot of registry. However, there is 1K, 2K that plays into that as well. But that's the lesser importance. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it. Custom one I got here is going to be more so tailored to having balanced quality with home theater. And that's going to be 32 hertz at 12, 64 hertz at 12, 125 at 8, 250 at 4, 500 hertz at 2, 1K at 6, 2K at 7, 4K at 1, 8K at 4, and then 16K at -1. Moving on to custom 2, we have kind of incremental changes, but again, that's why we're experimenting with this. It's going to be based on your headset and the EQ you're using. Still test them all out. This is bound to home theater, but still try out soundbar, PC speaker. Those are going to be the best ones that I've found as of late. So custom 2 is 1212 again. 125 hertz this time is going to be 7. 250 hertz is going to be 2. 500 hertz is going to be -1. 1K hertz is 1. 2K, 2. 4K, -2. 8K, -3. And 16K, -6. What we're trying to do is dial back pretty much everything. So I've gotten plenty of comments, trust me, I read them, like the muddy sound. It's because you're dialing everything else back and you're going to have more of a muddy bass type of sound, but that's what you got to sacrifice when you're trying to like sweet fine tune tailor something like this. It's part of the game. But moving on, custom 3, this is where you're going to implement the EQ in-game soundbar. And if you have it on PC, then try PC speaker as well. Like go back between the two, just try that out. But first off, 32 hertz is 12, 64 is 12, 125 is 4, sorry, 8, 250 is going to be 4, 500 is going to be 2, 1K is going to be 6, 2K, 7, 4K, 3, 8K, 0, and 16K, 2. Now I've gotten a bunch of requests to actually show you guys how to adjust this. Like I'm on mouse and keyboard, but if you're on a controller, all you got to do is like hover over the hertz you're trying to actually tune and then tune it from there. So this is the custom 2 for soundbar or PC speaker. Again, I highly recommend you try all of these. So, of course, all these are going to 12. Well, 32 and 64 hertz anyway. Then you click on 125. I'm going to send that to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 250 hertz. 1, 2, 3. 500. 1. 1K. That's 4. 2K. 5. 4K is going to be -1. 8K is going to be 1. And then 16 is going to be -3. And those are your two additional EQs to try out with the different in-game equalizers. Again, if you're trying them with different in-game equalizers, like each one of these, you got to track them. If you don't match it to the correct equalizer, it's not going to sound as good. And as always, I like to provide an additional option to Dolby Atmos because it does cost monthly or annually, whatever you choose to do. Personally, I think for its simplicity, it's definitely worth it. Also, with how well it implements to both console and PC, it makes it a viable option. But if you're on PC, console guys, I'm sorry. I was in your position, that's why I switched. But you have SteelSeries GG. All you need to do is download the app, make an account, and boom. Account's free, by the way. No charge. But you'll click on Sonar. You have mixer, game, chat, media, aux, and mic. In game, when you turn on the equalizer, you can create your own configuration. And you can also just go to Call of Duty. It's not the most up-to-date, but you can click one and then have a baseline to go off of and adjust from there. Sorry. But again, this is more fine-tuning because you can actually go in here and you can be like, okay, I want to adjust this one, but I want it to span this amount or this amount, right? Because it'll change the curve that you see in front of you, which is a very nice feature to have. So let's go ahead and give like a little bit of an example. So let's say 20 hertz to, I think it's roughly 70, will have the effect of, let's span that out. There we go. Will have the effect of increasing footstep sound. So until that curve is matching up, it's totally linear. So that's where we want it to be. Or not linear, it's got, I don't know why I said linear, but it's more linear. It's got a slope to it, and it goes pretty much straight down until we implement the next. The next is going to be, let's see, let me look at my notes. About 20 to 300 is going to be the next where we want to start changing up everything. So let's get these all moved kind of out of the way. So in between here, 5, that'll be 2, right here. I'm going to put that at about 7. somewhere along that line. Right now it's at 6, but you want this to have a bit more of a steep slope back down, because furthering the footsteps, it goes to about 550 to maybe 600 hertz before it starts to just not matter where its placement is anymore. So again, just to be safe, we'll place it at about 600, but we're going to have it close to 4. And again, we're going to shorten that some because we want the slope to be rather steep. Move these guys down and out of the way. Okay, we'll use this one because once we get to 1K, we want to start hiking things back up again. Roughly about the same as where we have around 300, 350. We'll put it at 325 just to be safe. But I'm going to have it right around the same spot. And then you have 2K. I have to get these guys out of the way so this graph doesn't look like garbage. We're going to send that up slightly higher, about 1 dB on 2K. Then we would typically look on Dolby at 4K and keep that a tad bit lower. Like I want to say around, actually quite a bit lower. I want to say around 2. You know, let's be safe and do 1.6. And then you've got, typically goes from 4K to 8K. So this time let's try it a little bit different and create a gradual slope. Can you see that? And then it goes up a tad bit more, but also dips because this mid-range doesn't really get used in anything that's going to be regarding footsteps. Then we start getting to 10K. No, it's 12K and 16K in Dolby. So let's send it a little bit further forward to 12. And we're just going to follow the previous trend. I'm going to put it close to 4. And then the last one, we're going to dip back down to -1, close to 16K. And this is basically how you mimic the frequencies that are going to matter in game. Now, if something seems like it's still off, then you can shorten this. You can make it to where it isolates those sounds a little bit better. And I will give it to SteelSeries. Your ability to actually tell which band, what span they have a domain over is fantastic, because it can actually help cut out those sounds that come in with weapon fire and things like that. They tend to drown out the footsteps at times. Again, if you want to use spatial audio, you have that option. You're really not limited at all in this application. Yep, pretty well anything that you could need. Better tuning, but still, Dolby's great for its ability to simplify everything. And that pretty much sums it up for this portion. And we, of course, have some finishing touches to implement real quick. So once you get into the app, I want you guys to go over to audio and make sure that, scroll to the bottom, tinnitus sound is reduced. Have this option on, because when you get flashbang, concussion, anything like that, you don't want to have the auditory feeling like that's actually happening. Okay, this game is no longer about realism, so don't even try to play that card. The other thing I want to take a little bit of note on is master volume. I would not recommend you have master volume all the way up, because if you're on console anyway, these EQs are going to be super loud and it's going to blow your eardrums. On another hand, it doesn't matter if you're on console or PC. Dial back the dialogue volume quite a bit to where you can still hear the call outs for enemy incoming, anything like that. Gameplay music volume, turn that as far down as you can. Voice chat, be able to hear your buddies, but don't let them overwhelm your ability to hear in-game cues. Cinematic volume, stupid, turn it down as much as you can. War tracks, I kind of like that. A little bit of AC/DC here and there when I'm killing people is pretty cool. But yeah, that pretty well sums it up for the in-game portion finishing touches. Next is showing you guys the actual gameplay and how you can test this out in a private lobby so you aren't ruining your KD at all. Okay, so the idea here is going to be a voiceover of sorts. I typically don't do this kind of thing, but I figure it's necessary whenever I'm leaving you guys to your own devices and still want to provide a little bit of guidance. So, once you get into game, set the EQ to what you see here, and then I'm going to shut up, let the gameplay play out. Just keep in mind that whenever I'm camping, I'm trying to let you hear the far distance, mid distance, close distance, all that stuff. This is one I didn't mention. Cinema, I found, was not helpful in any sense, so actually I'm going to go ahead and talk over this because it was garbage. So, you know what? Whatever. I'll take this time to explain a couple other things. Now, PC speaker. That's something that does not apply to console, obviously. You're not going to have that option in-game. It's not going to be an EQ. You do, however, have a soundbar. Soundbar is similar to PC speaker because the in-game EQ is much more condensed. The ranges that you will hear things at is similar to PC speaker. That's why I made 2 additional EQs that were for both PC speaker and soundbar within Dolby Atmos. Just something to keep in mind. Also, when you're moving about the map, try to crouch. You want to reduce your own sound. I understand there's a perk that can do so, but in my experience, it's semi-useless. Like it doesn't seem to make the reduction of your own sound that it should. So just crouch, and then you should be able to test things out for yourself quite a bit better. Okay. So if you have stuck with the video and me this long, just so you know, I greatly appreciate it. I could not have run this channel at all without the support of you guys and consistently sticking around and kicking me in the ass when I need it. Like, bruh, where you been? We need another EQ. I'll admit, sometimes I need that, so thank y'all again, and I'll catch you on the next one, alright? Y'all take it easy. Peace.